So my name is Steve McVey. I am here with Body Positive today. I've had numerous roles with Body Positive in the past, from Social Plus, which is a support group facilitator, to a peer support navigator, to other projects with Body Positive. So Matt Sharp and myself presented on Project Pūtoetoe, which is a video project to record and store or archive the stories of people living with HIV in Aotearoa. I guess the whole project was a people living with HIV-led project, so embodying the principles of MIPA, which is meaningful involvement of people living with HIV, and to do a project about us with us. So we travelled the country recording these stories in the hopes that we can kind of link generational attitudinal differences between what it means to live with HIV in New Zealand. So we hope that this project will take people out of support group environments and mobilise them into the actual physical world. We all know that exposure is the antidote to stigma. The more exposure and the more comfortable we are talking about HIV status, the less stigma that HIV has, which means more people will test and there'll be less HIV in the future. It's really important as well that these stories of especially long-term survivors are kept alive, especially when HIV organisations are getting to zero transmissions and eradicating HIV. Being long-term survivors with HIV, having HIV is part of their identity and their lived experience, and so facing a future without HIV for them is potentially very scary. So the project's ongoing. We've collected about 15 stories so far, and we launched it at Museum of Wellington last year on World AIDS Day. But the project is ongoing. We do this kind of around our actual jobs, and so there's not much time to do it, and so it's kind of ongoing. And we'll hope to do at least one corridor filming day a year in different locations. There's potentially no limit on how long this project can go on for. It really depends on what resources we can kind of find to keep it going. It's largely done on volunteer hours and our own funds and all that kind of thing, but also thank you to Body Positive, who have definitely fronted up a lot of money for this. The long-term outcomes of this are that more people can be involved in the project, and so that means more stories will be heard, more stories will be recorded, and new people who are diagnosed with HIV will know that they're not alone. The difference between knowing that you're not alone when you are diagnosed with HIV can be the difference between life and death. The relief of knowing that you are in this with somebody else, or a kaupapa, or a kind of cohort of people, can be hugely, hugely relieving. I mean, we know that from support groups that spending 1 hour a month with a group of people who you can share your otherness with can be feeling normal for 1 hour once a month, which is actually really significant for people.